Hey everybody, so it's Gabe here, and I just had the opportunity to watch the Delusions Lies Within VR, and I could say so many amazing things on it, but we don't have that much time. With the creator, Jon Braver. How you doing today?
Absolutely fantastic.
And I know we were having a previous discussion before we recorded, but I'm an editor by trade. That's what I do. And I run into a lot of VR. A lot of people say, I have VR. I have this, I have that. And I'm sure within your research of doing this project, you come across VR that's not very good. And your product is the most polished thing that I think I've ever seen done in VR.
Oh, well, thank you for that. I mean, that was really the idea. When we were doing research on VR, I saw plenty of things that made me want to throw up, and very uncomfortable and just shoddy production. I just said, look, if we're going to do this, then we better make sure to do it in the most cinematic way possible. So let's start off with getting the right cameras, getting the right camera crew. So we shot on the Sony A7S, which is the most cinematic camera you can get sort of in VR at this point, besides like an Alexa. And I'm pretty proud of it. It's really like you've stepped through the movie screen, you've stepped into the movie, and you're in it. And I'm terribly proud.
Honestly, I think it's a really good representation of what your experiences are, but within the realm of watching it on your TV or being in your own home. It's the next closest thing to being in one of your experiences that you've done. And what are some of the challenges that you guys face in the production of the product? Because I know that in VR there's a lot of little tricky things and pitfalls to watch out for. So what are some of the things that you guys ran into?
Many things that we don't have time for right now, but I will pick a few. I mean, number one would probably be, let's talk about blocking, like rehearsals. Because we have the cameras set up, the Sony A7Ss, we'd have overlap, you'd have stitch lines in VR. So you got to make sure to block the seam in such a way that the actors don't rest inside of a stitch line. If they do that, then that's countless hours of post-production, countless hours of frame-by-frame stitching to make sure that works. So we would place certain set pieces like a couch or a chair or a table within the actual stitch lines. So, it wasn't that hard to do, but it's just more of getting the actors realizing that here's the stitch line, don't hang out here, and it's just a matter of rehearsal. Get the right actors to do it. And on that note, having the actors from the play actually do the VR series was great because it was long takes. They're used to this kind of movement around the camera. The camera is basically the audience, so that was fun. But I think the biggest challenge was definitely the post-production process. Because there is no sort of standard protocol for VR right now, and so we just have to sort of figure it out along the way. So my producing partners at Skybound, we were all kind of in it together, pairing up with this one company that said they can do this and they didn't. Pairing up with this other company that said they can do this and they did not, and they failed epically. So, all of a sudden we lose a couple months here or there. So it was finding the right partners and just nailing down the post-production process. And so we found great partners in Telexis, which is a great post house for this, great VFX company. And over a course of a year and 2 months, we finished it. We finished season 1.
A year and 2 months? Is that from like concept to finish, or how long was it from concept to finish if that's not the case?
I mean, let's forget about the idea that it's adapted from the 2014 play. So that's sort of the conceptual beginning of it. But I adapted it, let's say in 2020. Oh, I don't even know my years anymore. Oh my God. It took about 8 months to sort of rethink it and rework it in the script, kind of make the script more cinematic, more theatrical. Finish the entire series. So it's all written right now. This VR series is season 1, which is 4 chapters. Next one, season 2, is 6 chapters. It took about 8 months to write it, and then 7 days to shoot, and then a year and 2 months. So it's basically almost 2 years.
With the challenges of VR, honestly, I could definitely say that within 7 days, that means you guys probably hauled ass.
Oh, yeah, man. We had so many shots we couldn't do. I had so many arguments and conversations with my producers that were like, we can't get this, we can't get that. And it was fine. At the end of the day, it's fine. It's just a matter of how long do we want. People are not used to being in VR for this long. This is 36 minutes, and nobody's in it for that long. But I think but nobody has ever complained about it, which is incredible. So But again, it's very expensive to do this stuff. So we settled on the 36 minutes, where it was probably about 48 to 50 minutes in season 1.
And I think people are easily able to sit there and watch this because it's not like a regular movie where you have these pans and these pushes that are really intense movements that when you're watching on a normal movie screen or like a TV screen, it's not that big of a deal. But when you're putting such incredible movements into a VR experience where somebody's sitting still and it looks like that's what they're watching, it can make people ill. But what you did was you did very slow pans and pushes and things, and I think that's why it makes it a little bit easier for people to watch, because like you said prior, people get sick really easily. So is that something you were looking out for right from the beginning of production?
Yeah, exactly. That was number one. It was like, I don't care how good your story is, if people are nauseous, you're done. Everything you've worked for is done. So it was a matter of, I really wanted camera movement because it needed to be as cinematic as possible, but it had to be slow on an axis, on a horizontal axis, or a vertical axis, and we were very careful about that. So we have lots of camera movement in this, lots of motion control camera, all slow, easy to digest. I don't think we've had any issues with anybody. We've shown it to hundreds of people, and no one's had an issue.
Yeah, I think this is very open to a lot of people who either have a lot of experience with VR like myself, or even the people who've never done VR. I think this is actually a perfect introduction to VR. And one thing that I want to touch upon before I take up most of your time all day, because you're busy as heck, is I like that you didn't fall within the tropes of what VR experiences normally are. Normally, when you go into a VR experience, if somebody wants to scare you, they just put something in your face really fast, make it loud, and usually that's it. The moments that made me jump the most weren't they're not in your face, and you build the suspense really well, and I think that starts from the production side, or the pre-production side with your script and, the storyboards and all that stuff, and I think you did a fantastic job.
Oh, thank you very much. I mean, yeah, Delusion has always been, the tone is always, it's not, if you're coming for jump scares and all that kind of stuff, that's not at all what we're doing here. It's really, everything's about the story. It's about the narrative. This is, you're basically in a movie, you're in a film the entire time, and we're not looking to creep you out in a quick jump scare sort of moment. It's all building up. Like my favorite films, The Shining, The Omen,
Slow burns.
The slow burns, yeah, Alien, all that kind of stuff. Like that's the tone of Delusion. So,
yeah. And I think you achieved it 100%. And I've done Delusions once. I've only had the opportunity to do it once. It sells out so fast, but I think it's a perfect representation of what you do with story. And I like that it feels like I'm going to one of your events. And I think you did a perfect job in capturing me, because when I saw To Be Continued, I got angry.
Yeah, I think that's so funny. The number one complaint so far, which is awesome, is like, what the hell? That's it? Come on. What happens next? So we got to shoot season 2. We got to get more people seeing this. Somebody has to make money off VR. Nobody can yet, and we're hoping that this will, so we can shoot season 2.
Yeah, and I can't wait for it, because I'm going to be thinking about the end of it. I'm going to be laying in bed, being like, what's going to happen? So as soon as that comes out, I'm going to be there watching.
Oh, I love it. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you for your time, and good luck showing everybody your awesome product, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Of course, and let everybody know where they can look you up, too.
Yeah, just head to enterdelusion.com, and you can check out what we're up to in the VR space. You can check out our new live show that opens at the end of September. There's still a few tickets available. We're running till December, the end of December. It's called Delusion the Blue Blade, so check it out.
Very cool. Thank you very much.
Thanks, brother.